takes two to tango, right?
It does take two to tango, but Canada isn't willing to do the tango with the US. And newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney made that clear to Trump, even as the American president went on and on about the spectacular benefits Canadians would get if they joined the US as America's 51st state. And make sure you watch out for Mark Carney's facial expressions as Trump droned on.
It would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens.
You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But, it's, I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem.
But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Sure, there were plenty of smiles all around, but this neighbor isn't willing to move in yet. And marriage is far, far away from Canada's mind. Sitting next to Trump and his entire entourage in the Oval Office, Mark Carney did some plain speaking without antagonizing Trump.
There are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. We have done that in the past. And part of that, as the President just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership, and I'll say this as well, that the President has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
It was Mark Carney's first official visit to the US as Prime Minister and first face-to-face meeting with Trump after his tariffs have rocked Canada. Trump definitely helped Carney get past the finish line in the elections, quite emphatically one might add. But the real work begins now. The United States has imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminium, and some auto parts. These tariffs have significantly impacted Canadian exports, which dropped by 6.6% in March. In response, many Canadian companies are now looking for new markets in Asia and Europe. And there's a resurgence in Buy Canadian and Canada First. And these sentiments are, of course, growing. It was an attempt to reset a rocky relationship, and the fact that this was another meeting in the same Oval Office where not so long ago another world leader had been publicly scolded wasn't lost on anyone, Trump included.
This is very friendly. We're not. This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different. This is a very friendly conversation.
The two leaders also held a 75-minute one-on-one meeting that was described as constructive. The markets reacted well to the meeting, with the Canadian dollar picking up for the first time in months. But Trump hasn't given up on the 51st state idea. This is proof, even as Mark Carney, who's normally considered quite poker-faced, managed to do more than smile.
Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low, and now they're stepping it up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
For more such stories, subscribe to SMG News, hit the like button, and follow for more news updates.